Welcome to another exciting broadcast day.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, Teresa Strasser.
Good morning, Adam Carolla.
Good morning, Danny Bonaduce. What? Oh, well, I'll have to say it since Danny's not here. Good morning, Bald Brian. Yes, the men of Troy. Nice big Rose Bowl victory for them yesterday. All right, but let's talk about bigger and more important things, namely what the F has been going on. I just kicked the phone with this show. A lot of controversy.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of questions.
All right, well, I am here to answer those questions and your questions. Here's what I'm going to do. I've given this some thought over the new year. You always have this balance between wanting to share the truth with your audience, wanting to be honest with your audience, and not wanting to be unfair to other people that are involved or piss off management too much or whatever it is. So I'm going to try to relate this story in a way that does both.
You're right. You want to be as honest as possible without stepping on toes unfairly.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not even unfairly. I'm just going to try to be dignified about this whole thing.
It'd be better if you weren't. But
all right. Well, don't worry. That'll come around. That will come around.
Good.
That will slowly creep out over the next 15 minutes. No, that will slowly creep out. But here's basically the long and the short of it. Jack Silver hired Danny Bonaduce to do something with this show. Man it up a little bit.
Right.
Here, okay, let me break it all down. We're on quite a few radio stations, or at least a handful, but Los Angeles is the only one that they really care about. And the Los Angeles station is a man-themed radio station.
Sure. The kingpin being, of course, Tom Leykis.
Right. You say bowling pin or kingpin? Yes. Tom Leykis does great ratings in the afternoons. Thus, we should all emulate Tom Leykis. It's a pretty simple equation. Right. A lot of businesses run that way. And basically, we picked a direction. Jack Silver picked a direction for this radio station, which was appeal to men. That's fine. So I think one of the reasons Danny was brought on was to appeal to men. Now, one of the reasons I was brought on was to... Quiet, Teresa. You'll not be talking for the next year.
Oh, no.
You can laugh. What was that thing you did?
When I laugh? That's good.
Don't talk. Just laugh.
Okay. I think I can handle that.
Let's just do it this way. Teresa, how was your weekend? Laugh it up. Laugh it up.
It was...
Laugh. That's right. What's going on in the news? Yeah. Hey, heard you got an abortion.
I'm just a girl. I can't read the news.
Heard you lost your relative over at the San Francisco Zoo over the weekend.
He was eaten by a tiger.
Good stuff. All right, so the plan was pick a direction, and that's the way entertainment works. You look at a demographic, and you try to mold a show that is going to capture that demographic. For this station, the one in Los Angeles, KLSX, it's for men. And so we wanted to man it up. Now, I think that's interesting and that's fine, but I also think that men have interests outside of chugging beer.
Or getting laid for $40 or less.
Right. I think there's plenty of smart guys out there that want to hear interesting talk, maybe political, sometimes sexual. We'll go all over the map, just as long as it's interesting. So Danny was brought on board, and I like Danny personally. I think Danny, if you... much to people's surprise, a much nicer guy, a loyal guy, dedicated guy, and a good guy off the air. And on the air, too, possibly, depending on what you know of him. But a real solid guy off the air, kind of guy who would have your back, a generous guy. But I didn't think he worked out on the air. And the reason I don't think he worked out on the air, and this isn't a put down to Danny, I thought the guy should have been doing the Danny Bonaduce show. He is an alpha male. He is, as I said to our program director, he's a lead guitar player. He's not a rhythm guitar player. He's used to playing lead guitar. And you put him in our band and you tell him, hey, put down the flying V and pick up the acoustic guitar and stand 2 steps behind me and wear a black turtleneck. And that's not his thing. He wants to play solos. He's a lead guitar player. I might be that too. I don't know. No, actually, I can play rhythm. I kind of like it. I don't like doing the part where we throw up the commercial and stuff. Well, some guys can. And I don't know if Danny can or Danny can't, but Danny, in my estimation, was a lead guitar player. Now you have a band with what is supposed to be lead guitar, rhythm guitar, and Teresa on drums, although she's not allowed to play for more than 7 minutes an hour, on drums, and that's the way it would go. But I felt like we had 2 lead guitar players, and I thought Danny was pretty good as a lead guitar player. It was more of a chemistry or more of a almost round peg square hole match than it was a problem like I had. It wasn't like, oh, I don't think he's funny or I don't think he's interesting or I don't like the guy. As a matter of fact, whenever I spoke to anybody and said, I don't think this is the right match, they'd go, well, a lot of guys don't get along that well. You know, Kevin and Bean, they don't like each other that much, or this guy and that guy, they don't. And I'd always say, stop saying like. I like the guy just fine.
Sure.
I think the guy's a nice guy. And stop saying I don't think he's funny or I don't think he's interesting or I don't think he can do radio. I think Danny Bonaduce is a good guy who can do good radio, but he needs to do the Danny Bonaduce show. It was pretty simple. And again, not a huge put down. I mean, if you really break it down, there's many celebrities who are very successful that you could say that about. I don't know that Jon Stewart or Jay Leno or Conan O'Brien would be happy sitting next to me counting their words all morning and not interrupting me when I'm doing an interview.
That might be difficult for them.
I don't know that it would be even fair to them.
I have a lot of questions.
All right, well, hold on a second. Ted?
Hey, Ace Man.
What's happening, Ted?
Hey, it's good to hear that you're well after never missing radio. It's good to hear you back on the air.
Well, one of the, that's...
Ted is referring to...
We can get to that part of the story, too. Yeah, look, if I'm... It's not that I'm an Iron Man, but I have a pretty strong constitution, and the other thing is radio is so goddamn easy that you could just wheel yourself in here on a gurney and do it on a nightly basis or a daily basis. I mean, when I used to work construction, if I was sick, I couldn't go in because I'd be standing on a roof in Simi Valley in 111-degree weather, and you'll start spinning around and fall off the roof if you're really sick. This is one of the few jobs where if you can sit at home and talk, if you can answer the phone at home, then you're good. As a matter of fact, in radio, if a guy doesn't show up and you call him at home and he answers the phone, you should be fired.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, I'll get to my sick out in a second, but Ted, did you want to...
And we heard you over on Drew's show, too, so we knew you were probably doing all right.
Well, that was a sad coincidence, but I'll explain that one, too.
Right, because I kept getting emails that people heard you on Drew's show, his radio show, and they saw you on Carson Daly's show.
Oh, well, the Carson Daly show was something that was taped a couple of weeks earlier. Hey, Ted?
Yeah.
You good?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks
my brother.
for calling.
Yep.
All right, yeah, what happened? So I basically realized at some point, and here's the thing, everybody, I'm smart. And when you're smart, you see things down the road a little bit. Life doesn't just hit you in the face at 60 miles an hour every goddamn day. You look down the road. I don't know if you want to call it wisdom. I don't know if it's being intuitive. Maybe it's a whole bunch of things that I've collected. But it's that sort of thing where you know after the first date, maybe this isn't marriage material. Now everyone is saying to you, why? This person's good looking. This person's nice. They paid for the bill. They pulled your chair out. They closed the car door. Yeah, I know. But I can see down the road. And I could see down the road that Danny wasn't a good fit for this show. Again, not a bad guy, not an unfunny guy, and I think will be and is a good radio show host. He'll be on this station later in the afternoon. not a good fit for the show. I knew it, so I started to tell management and whoever else would listen that I didn't think he was a good fit for the show. I didn't want them to throw the guy out. I wanted them to put him somewhere where he could do the Danny Bonaduce show instead of, I didn't want to carve a little corner out of my show where he could do the Danny Bonaduce show in the corner of my show. That's what it sort of felt like to me. So,
Uh-oh.
Sharon.
I think Sharon's upset about no Danny.
Hey, Sharon.
Yes. Hi, how you doing?
What's happening, Sharon?
Well, I'm not happy for one thing. I'm happy that you're feeling better. And hello, Teresa. How you doing?
Very well. Good morning, Sharon. A Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you. But I'm the granny that likes Danny. And
oh,
Danny,
you're the,
yeah. Yeah, I'm the one that got your number so that I could listen when I went and saw the surfing competition. And, you know, so and I listen on the headset. I have one in the bathroom, have one in the living room. But I started listening when Danny came on, and with Danny off, I'm gone.
Well, adios, bitch. It's going to be a very small bus. All right. Now, I know it sounded cruel, but that's what she said. So fine.
Right.
And she can find Danny.
He'll be on from, 2 to 3?
2 to 3 on KLSX out here in Los Angeles. She's out in Sacramento, but she can
podcast,
stream it or podcast it or whatever. All right. So I realized that Danny wasn't a good fit for the show, and I expressed that to management, and they said stay the course. And I thought, all right, well, we could stay the course. And believe you me, everybody, I'm capable of coming in here and doing a radio show with Danny Bonaduce. I just did it for a year.
Yeah, I think you did a great job, and I don't think any listener could sense that you were uncomfortable with the chemistry.
You know, I really, the thing about, there's a couple things. One is, I've worked construction, and so I'm used to working with anyone or everyone or whatever. I've worked with everybody in my life. And for me, work is just that. It's work. It's not marriage. It's not a date. It's not relationship. It's just work. And I'm capable of sitting next to almost anybody and working off of them or working well with them or having a good time with them on and off the air. Danny was no different. But the question is, do you want to get by or do you want to flourish? Do you want to do a good enough radio show or have good enough chemistry or just feel like, well, you're good enough to kind of work this one out? Yeah, we're all good enough to do that with anything, but how many lives do you have? How many years do you have? How many things do you want to say? And how long do you want to do good enough versus the best you can do? See, I think there's something in this show, and I also, a lot of it was based on Teresa Strasser over here, who I felt, and have always felt, is has something in her that maybe she isn't even aware of. Teresa, I spoke to this time last year, and I said to her during the Christmas break, I said, Teresa, I'd like you to step it up a little bit. I know you think you're living in a man's world, but you're smart and you're talented and you're funny, and you should not encumber yourself. You should speak freely. And I feel like she stepped it up. Well, I feel like there's even another gear that Teresa has. Don't talk, baby. Let me just talk about your gears for another 20. Just laugh it up. But I feel like there's another gear and there's another place to go with Teresa, and that was always my vibe. And just like I knew that Danny wasn't a good fit for this show. And again, when I say good fit, I don't mean we wouldn't have gotten ratings. I don't mean we wouldn't have done a entertaining radio show. And I don't mean that Danny wasn't good. I just could tell that he was a lead guitar player in a band that already had a lead guitar player. I know that there's more places to go and explore with Teresa Strasser. All right.
Permission to speak briefly?
Yes.
The fact that you believe in me and have supported me fills me with both pride and
fear,
crippling anxiety, the likes of which poor Sharon and Tarzan has had to hear about for many weeks. Be seeing her today at 2. I don't want to